The shape of shoes is changing, but it's not because our feet are changing exactly. It's because we have a new sort of revolution in the way that shoes work, where a lot of people are getting what are called barefoot shoes. We are seeing not just barefoot style workout shoes, but now it's getting into the realm of barefoot sneakers and even barefoot boots. Which again, for a lot of people, those two words don't belong together, but to help us understand a bit better, we are lucky enough here at Goral headquarters in Sheffield, UK, to be sitting with Mr. Colin Papworth, who is from Pod Therapies. He's a podiatrist in Chesterfield, England, with a special interest in barefoot training. Thank you for coming on the channel.
Thank you.
Put it there. Listen, barefoot shoes, what the hell does that mean? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I know, but yeah, let's have something that just protects the foot, really. People say that the foot was designed to be not encased in a shoe. So let's go back to that more of that natural way of moving and walking.
How does a barefoot shoe differ to, okay, we got like a boot, right? Pretty standard boot. This is not flat or barefoot looking at all because you get the heel that gives you some extra stability and control. It's got multiple layers in under the foot. You get the insole, the midsole, the outsole, all this sort of stuff, which everyone says is nice and stable and conforms to the shape of your foot over time and helps to limit foot pain if you're on your feet all day and all this other stuff. Then you got this bastard, which is a zero drop, really wide out here, and a really thin sole. The idea for this one seems to be, let's have as little material as possible between your foot and the ground. And now they're saying that's ideal for this foot and that's gonna limit pain. What, come on, man. What's going on?
A lot of it's going to be down to personal preference and how it feels. And there's no reason why potentially you couldn't have a little bit more support if you need a little bit more or a little bit less if you want to go. But if you want your foot to work a little bit more effectively, then having nothing underneath your foot is going to make the foot work a little bit easier as well.
We're going to try and stick to casual wear in this video, right? So I'm just a person walking around the city. We're not talking about how to work out in shoes. As an external observer, it seems to me there's like three things that you see in a barefoot shoe, and like this is maybe in order of importance. You get a much wider toe box, which I'm a big fan of actually. I'm kind of sick of almond toes that squish your toes a little bit. Zero drops, so like flat underfoot, and a thin sole. Is that about right? The three things you get in a barefoot? I like boots because they seem to make my feet less fatigued. Why should I consider getting a barefoot shoe instead?
When people come into the clinic, they'll come in and we've seen people with an injury, we've got an issue. So it's either do we go more supportive, more support through the boot, through insoles, through orthosis. Some people don't want to go down that way. Can we get the foot working differently? So can we have that impact? So it is taking the idea, like you said, from the workout stuff that people found the benefits in the gym, from doing the lifting, you're more grounded, your foot's in a better shape, it's getting stronger. Why can't we take that out into every day? So rather than just wearing it in the gym, let's put that under our foot all of the time. You're going to get more benefit from it.
A funny contradiction that I encounter a lot in the world of footwear is that I'll get just as many people saying, if I spend all day out in stiff boots, I get sore feet. Other people say if I spend all day in soft, squishy sneakers, that's what gives me sore feet. Because that your foot is doing more work, isn't it, when it's softer underfoot?
Yeah.
For some people, you want to give it more work to do than average because like maybe they're a runner or something like that. Like you want to keep those muscles active. Is that about the lay of the land? Like it's sort of like sometimes I like to sit on the couch, sometimes I like to work out, and like a boot is sitting on the couch and this is working out. Like is it like a balance of them?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the more support through the shoe, so if you've got that stiffer sole or a bit more cushioning, the body's having to do less work. So the foot's having to do, it's giving it a little bit of a break potential. You've got a little bit more longevity. So yeah, it's not going to fatigue quite as quickly. Some people will spend quite happily all day barefoot, but it's also understand how your feet work as well. So when we're hitting the ground, that arch will drop and there'll be some movement through that. And then when we're walking, that foot's going to restabilize. So we either use the shoe to help that restabilization process, or we can go more minimalist and actually get the foot to work. So when you're standing around, it is different because everything is not moving. So the muscles getting tighter, they're fatiguing, they're not getting that stretch contraction. So that's what we're trying to introduce back into, either with the footwear or again with taking all of that out. The foot's going to have to find a way to do that. But to start with, it will fatigue quicker.
It is like when you first go into the gym, it's like you'd rather do it like maybe a few times a week, and then later on you can work out more if you want to, but you got to get used to it. Would you recommend a guy like me spend like a day or two a week walking around in barefoot shoes, and then maybe eventually even more cumulative hours than that? Like would you say I'm lacking a bit in foot fitness because of all the boot wearing I I do?
Yeah, so there is much debate about whether insoles or shoes, the extra support through the shoe is going to weaken feet. So people that advocate sort of more barefoot type shoes say the foot's going to be working better, you're going to have that, but there is that element of fatigue. So rather than a whole day, you've got to start off on a much more sort of gradual basis than that, because the impact's going to be through the rest of the body as well. So there's a whole load of different factors in there about going in.
Yeah, you can't condense your entire medical training into a 5-minute video?
No, unfortunately.
Useless.
I know.
Before I was doing this channel, I worked in the fitness industry for 10 years. I got like an okay understanding of this kind of stuff. Generally, someone comes to a physical therapist or the foot equivalent, the podiatrist with an injury. It's like, this muscle that's sore probably wasn't as strong, fit, mobile as it should have been. Let's get those muscles working some more in a healthier way to help make you more injury resistant in the future. And I'm following what you're saying, but if I don't have sore feet, should I still go and get some shoes?
Well, that's down to, personal preference. I mean, some people are looking at these shoes and they think, they just don't like the look of it, the shape of it. It doesn't look like a finesse type thing. It's a little bit more sort of clumpy, because people want to have that nice sort of neat looking shoe.
Is it really just preference though? Because like if I go to my doctor and I'm like, no, I never work out and I never eat veggies, but I feel fine. I don't have to start doing that stuff, do I? He'd say, no, you do. Actually, you should. And it'll limit injury risk in the future, right?
Well, so difficult to say, because, that's just, a whole different concept on that about preventative. Most of the injuries we're going to see are going to be repetitive strain loading injuries. So if your body will work at a certain level and have absolutely no trouble, so whether you're in shoes or boots or barefoot shoes, whatever, if you're below that level, then you're going to be absolutely okay. If you want to increase your activity, then you've got to increase how you're going to load your body in a different way. So that's when you start looking, okay, how can I add different variations into that? So maybe that's when looking at barefoot is an option. Some people almost want to go the other way and actually give me more support. So we might go down an insole or more supportive shoe, which again is going to protect the foot, but it's not going to change the way that it's working. But actually we put in, I suppose, more scaffolding. We're giving it more support to help, again, to give it more tolerance to overcome that loading. Or the other way you can do it is take all of that away and then actually work from the core down, from the foot. Let's get a more stable platform. Let's get a more stable base.
You're saying that the barefoot shoes make your feet stronger. I guess that sounds good, but who cares? Like what's the benefit of stronger feet?
So again, it's down to that functional change. If the foot's working better, the impact through the rest of the body is much have big knock-on effects basically with that. So the calf muscles are working better, the hips working better, our core's going to be a little bit more activated, our posture's going to change. So it has really big knock-on effects. So we could be treating low back pain by looking at how feet work. So we change the foot dynamics and it's going to have a knock-on effect higher up. We're going to get better blood flow, and these things are all randomly, if we're working better, our body's moving better, we're much more aware of our environment from that grounding point of view. And there's all these little bits and pieces that people sort of talk about barefoot benefits from it, more contact with the ground. But generally we're going to be in a healthier place, or that potential with a healthier place, because we're going to have a longer stride. Our foot works, we bend our big toes a little bit, those muscle pumps, those muscles are stretching and contracting, all the soft tissues are stretching. So longevity, it's about keeping flexibility through tissues for as long as possible.
There is that knock-on effect. If you're on tippy toes all day, like you are in high heels, that'll like shorten the ankle, but also like it can throw the hips like a little bit out of whack, because like it's all joined up that way, and that can like put the lower back out of whack a little bit. That can mess up the neck. Like it is all kind of connected. So there are different kind of levels of barefoot shoe at this point, aren't there? What do you think? Is this like nonsense because it's got a thicker sole than a lot of barefoot shoes, or is this still pretty good because you get the flatness and the wide toe?
Yeah, so you've got those features in there, and again, it's pretty thin. I'm not quite sure how thick that is, but there's not a lot underneath your foot, so it's probably smaller than a normal shoe anyway. Quite a low contact, you're going to feel the ground. So it goes towards some of the brands which have actually very thin, so very, very thin materials as well. And there's also an element of a little bit of puncture, so protection, and also from a weather point of view as well. The problem with a lot of barefoot shoes, they're actually quite cold in the winter, so you're walking around. So
that's true.
Big issue. So actually having a little bit more. So again, with the shoes, we have different shoes for different things. So barefoot shoes, I mean, if you look at some of the ultra running brands, again, you can get 3 centimeters on the Olympus or something along those lines, which again is still a barefoot shoe. You've got a wide toe box, you've got a 0 drop, but you've got loads of protection under your feet. So people who are going, sort of an ultra marathon, you may need that protection.
I guess it's good that the barefoot thing is getting so popular that I can look for something with a wide toe and a flat sole, but it doesn't have to have like a really thin sole. So I guess to sum up, your foot is full of muscles, and the muscles, if you have muscles anywhere in the body, it's good for them to get exercised. While if you are someone who has to like walk a ton, like let's say like at a factory or warehouse floor, very unlikely that you need to go get barefoot shoes. Your feet will get too tired. But a lot of people, through a range of reasons, they don't get much exercise, they wear a lot of really thick footwear and so on. Their feet can wind up a bit weak, and that can have knock-on effects throughout the body and also make the foot a little more prone to injury. So even if you love to wear boots and nice shoes, welted footwear, resolable, durable footwear, all of this stuff has a ton of benefits. It's good nonetheless to give your feet more of a workout than zero workout. And if you work out regularly in the gym, you are definitely going to have stronger feet than the average person. You're not in as dire a position. But whether or not you work out often, it's a good idea to now and then go for a walk in some barefoot shoes just to work them out a little bit more. Just like it's a good idea to do a few sets of push-ups now and then.
Yeah, people are becoming a lot more aware of their health and how their bodies work, and just putting all those factors together. So actually just changing your footwear is an easy way to do it.
Well, I like boots too much to throw them out, but I am going to start wearing some barefoot shoes a little bit more often.
Yeah, just throwing something different at the body definitely responds well to that.
Colin Papworth of Podiatry, Podiatry Therapies. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, Thank you.